there, it's Lori, and here's a throwback story from 2017. I need to read it so I get it just right. And then this one actually comes with a question. I was teaching about sampling bias because I taught AP statistics. And one of the students observed that our voting system has voluntary response bias because people have to choose to vote. I said, yes, that voluntary element makes the results non-representative, but just because the system is flawed that way, we don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. A girl in the class who made the observation looked at me with the most horrified look and said, Miss H, why would you throw a baby out? I then explained the phrase, and she said she had never heard that before. So yes, you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. That was a normal phrase to me. However, I then went home and said it to my oldest daughter, who is now 30. She's the tail end of millennial, I believe. Anyway, she said she'd never heard it before. So I want to know who has heard that phrase. Like, who knows what that means and where it comes from. Or you don't even have to know where it comes from, but you know what it means and you've heard it before. And then put like your generation. You can say boomer, baby boomer, or you can say in my 60s or whatever, because I want to figure out when this changed. When did this phrase like disappear from common vernacular? So that's my Throwback Thursday story that comes with a question I would like you all to answer. I may end up putting a poll on my posts as well. But I want both pieces of information because I want to know, what generation you are, and you can either label it like I'm Gen X. You can either label it that way, or you can say what decade you are or your actual age. Preferably if you're over 18, say your actual age. If you're under 18, just say teenager or something like that. Okay. Or Gen Alpha. I think that's what y'all are that are younger. Are you Gen Z? No. I think my 17-year-old is Gen Alpha, and I think the 15-year-old is Gen Z. But no, other way. The 17-year-old is Gen Z, I think. And then the 15-year-old is Gen Alpha, I think, because it started over. But my younger daughter is kind of at the top of the Gen Z, I believe, right? Because that's after the millennials. Anyway, that's it's a curiosity question, and because I like statistical analysis, I like to look at this. I really would like to figure out, very anecdotally, when this phrase, what generation did this phrase kind of disappear? Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. So just because the bathwater is bad, we don't throw out what's in the bathwater. Anyway, you're about to see something I made. I did not post this until much later because it was a Christmas present. This is a Bag-O-Day pattern and is it Atom Pool? I'll link the patterns and I'll pull up the information while I'm doing the audio part. But it's a long tunic that's laced up, and again, it's a Bag-O-Day pattern, Bag-O-Day crochet, and then a hood. But then I put cat ears on it for the now 17-year-old. It hasn't fit her in a long time, but she passed it on to one of my friends who is a tiny, very small, petite person. So it fits her great. But my 17-year-old is significantly taller than I am. So yeah, definitely hasn't fit her. There you go. In quite a while. Anyway, that's it. And let's look at this beautiful item. Tallish already, but anyway, this, I wrote what I made, or the yarn I used. I used LionBrand Respun yarn, recycled polyester is what that is, in black. That's the kind of grayish. And I actually very, very much lost at Yarn Chicken and used regular old black acrylic on the backside. I attached the cat ears, and that was a tutorial by Crafting at the Pool. I'm going to have to check and see if that channel is still valid, but I will give links. And he has some real cool amigurumi kind of items. But This, I wanted the cat ears because that's the kind of thing she enjoyed wearing at that time. Uh, like I said, she then outgrew it, and I offered it to my friend who I knew was into that stuff. And sure enough, she loves it and said it might be one of her favorite things I've given her. Anyway, the pattern, the tunic pattern, and I believe that that included the hood, was a pattern by Bag a Day Crochet, and I will link that pattern below as well. And yeah, this was my first time using, first of all, recycled yarn, yarn that was a recycled product. And it was my first time making like a tunic, and actually the first time I ever combined two patterns. And if you know me, you know this is a common thing for me to do. I like to combine patterns a lot. It's one of my favorite things to do. So this is the first time I did it, by adding the ears. Like I said, I know it's a Bag a Day hood. I just can't remember if it's with that pattern, but I think it is. And the awesome thing about this particular pattern is that the way she set it up, because this is Bag a Day style, she gives you measurements and says, for this size, go to this width. For this size, go to this width. And it's worked from top to bottom, so you can see it was a long, long chain. And I believe it was 2 panels, front and back panels. You can kind of see the black line where I used black acrylic on the back, where the black meets the gray there. So the front and the back is 2 panels. And like I said, it's like worked up and down. So the arms and the front are worked all together, if I remember right. Anyway, again, the thing about Bag a Day crochet tutorials is they're incredibly versatile and they're easy to adapt, and she wants you to adapt them to what works for you. But once again, I have no idea what hook size I used. Again, probably a 6mm. I probably used exactly whatever Crystal says in the tutorial. But I'm happy with how this came out. It was fun. I think there's a few of you that have younger kids, or even you're an adult and you would like to do this kind of look. Again, you can make it as long as you want and as wide as you want. And that goes for the arms and the hood. And then the lace up, she shows you how to do the little lace up there. Anyway, that is my Throwback Thursday. Again, the first time I put 2 patterns together. And thanks for coming in. And can I get an amen? And please answer my question about the phrase, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.